Hello, welcome to the When I Have Spare Time podcast. My name is Frank, and I'll be sitting here talking to you for a few minutes. I'm wearing a Three Wolf Moon t-shirt because I'm a man. So I've been enjoying propaganda. I love it because the people doing the propaganda don't realize how silly they sound, but you gotta listen to these numbers. Um, Ukraine says that Russia has lost 10,000 troops, 39 aircraft, 40 helicopters, 269 tanks, 945 armored vehicles, like 105 artillery, and 19 anti-aircraft systems. I don't know how they got those exact numbers, but anyway. And I'm rounding the number, I'm rounding this number up. They have lost 3,000 soldiers. So, you're telling me that Russia has lost, 10K troops, 40 aircraft, 40 helicopters, 300 tanks, 940, 44 armored vehicles, but Ukraine has only lost 3,000 troops. That is propaganda at its finest. I don't believe one word of this. Okay? And then Russia says, and I'm rounding up the number. This aren't things, whatever. All these numbers are made up anyway. Russia says they've only lost 2,000 troops. So what is the point of any news source? I don't know. I don't know. That's every single news source. I mean, obviously you would believe a independent news source over the mainstream, like anything mainstream. Like, how many times has CNN just blatantly lied? Dozens of times. I'm sure if you're a man of culture or a woman of prosperity, at least one story. Just you can think of Joe Rogan. They've lied about him several times, but that's just one example. But anyway, I digress. Those numbers I brought up about the Russian losses, that's from a Ukrainian news source. That's their official news source has said that. So of course, I'm assuming the numbers are inflated. I'm assuming, and then I'm assuming, you know, they said Russia lost 10,000 troops, but Russia says they've lost 2,000 troops. That's a difference of 8,000. And then when you hear from an American source, those numbers are different too. So, whatever. I'm just amazed by you. You just you basically don't know the real story, and you'll never get the right information. So it's like, why do people even watch the news? I mean, the only reason why I can picture someone actually taking the news seriously is because they want to, I don't know, like have some information to say at a bar so they sound like cool when they're talking to like two other drunk people who they don't know. You know what I heard? Yeah. But whatever. I stopped watching mainstream media. God, during the first time I experienced voter fraud was when George Bush won, and Florida was the determining state, and George Bush's brother Dib was the governor of Florida, and of course the votes flipped his brothers away, because it doesn't matter who you vote for, it matters who counts the votes. So I already knew that back then. But I'm like, yeah, okay, does voting even matter? That was just so blatant. But anyway, but that's when I stopped trusting the news. Not that I really trusted the news in the first place, but that was like my wake up call. I'm like, oh, okay, this is just, not, and that's when I was like, you know what, the government's full of crap. It was that one moment, I guess, was my last straw. But on to funnier topics, because this was cracking me up. Uh, you don't know who this person is because she's a WNBA player, but Brittany Griner, she's like supposedly, because I don't know, the best WNBA player. And which the team she plays for, I don't care. It's girl. It's female basketball. Girls basketball, the WNBA won't be good until they replace all the chicks with dudes. And if things keep going where they're going, it's gonna happen. Cause you got some dude killing it in women's swimming in the college ranks. Yeah, he won whatever the I don't know what it's called, but he's like the best swimmer. He's like the swimming champion. His name is Will Thomas, but he pretends to be Leah Thomas. It's a shame what's happening to America. You know, remember, society crumbles when you can't tell the difference between men and women. When that becomes an issue, society crumbles. Look back at every great nation that has crumbled. Their society was so great they had nothing else to worry about, and so it all boiled down to like gender roles and hey let's mess up a good thing. Anyway, but Brittany Griner is a American basketball star who in the off season plays for Russia. Now a lot of WNBA players in the off season play for other leagues, you know. And so she was playing for the Russians, like the Russia has a women's basketball league. And so I guess she's leaving the airport. She's flying back to America, and so in her carry on, like a drug sniffing dog is sniffing her bag, and the dog first was like, oh, is there a lesbian in here? Anyway, then the dog kept smelling her carry-on bag, and he was like, "Oh, is that dildo?" No, but anyway, so the dog was a drug sniffing dog. Anyway, Brittany Griner had vape cartridges. Um, you've you know what vape cartridges are because every time I've started a podcast where I'm coughing, I just use a vape cartridge. You remember seasons 1 through 6, where every time I started a show I was coughing? Yeah. Anyway, um, so in Russia, laws are different in other countries. So I don't understand these athletes or just people in general, who go to a different country and like act like they're in America. But anyway, because in America, well, I mean, I don't know what the penalty is for bringing a vape in your luggage because like marijuana is legal in a lot of states. So, once again, I don't know the law, but I'm gonna say in America, if you brought a vape in your luggage, I'm going to guess the penalty is not 5 to 10 years in jail. That's just my guess. Okay, because it's legal in some states, so I doubt you're gonna go to jail for 5 years. Okay, but in Russia, it's 5 to 10 years in jail. Now, I'm assuming she knows this, right? Because she lives in Russia. I mean, during the off season to play in the professional basketball league over there. So, isn't it common sense that if you're going to live in a different country to know their laws? Because once again, America's laws only apply in America, and even our states have different laws. So, like, I know Texas is they have stricter like marijuana, whatever penalties You know, then like California, you could. Well, I mean, I've seen it. You could, like you could vape as you're walking down the street. Like no one cares. It's common. It's very common in California to see someone like smoking a joint on the corner. But like there's a few states where like it's not legal. But once again, you don't go to jail for 5 years. Okay, so to me, Brittany Griner is just another example of an idiot. Just like those UCLA basketball players who were playing basketball in China and decided to go shoplifting. And then, you shoplift in China, it's just different than shoplifting in America. I mean, look at America. Like, look at Portland. Hell, it's legal to shoplift. Defund the police. Fuck it. Idiots. And so, of course, Brittany Griner, now that she's being detained in Russia, now she loves America. Now before, Brittany Griner was kneeling and protesting and the Black Lives Matter maven, and BLM really stands for burn, loot, murder. So, but anyway, yeah. So like Brittany Griner was one of the people kneeling during the anthem and talking a bunch of shit about this country. But now that she's in trouble, oh, now she loves America. Now she loves the good old USA. And now you have some woke Congress people demanding that Putin let her go. I don't think Vladimir gives a rat's ass about Brittany. I'm a 6'6" lesbian Griner. I don't think someone walked into the war room and was like, "Hey, Vlad, yeah, there's this American basketball player that got arrested at the airport. What do you want us to do with her?" I don't think Putin turned around and was like, "Detain her." No, I don't think he knows anything about this. You got some congresswoman, and I'm saying some 'cause I don't give a rat's ass who she is, demanding that he let her go. Like he has her tied to a chair in his office, like he's some Bond villain. Wake up. Like, if it was you or me, just some regular person, getting in trouble like this at a Russian airport, obviously we'd rot in jail for 10 years. But I just don't see, considering what Russia's going through right now, I don't see them having political talks about Brittany Griner right now. I think Russia's more worried about the sanctions that have been levied on them by all these other countries. Like right now, Russia has a problem because its currency, its ruble, has plummeted, and they're now rationing certain types of products you can buy from stores. And their gas prices have gone up. Like they're going through I think Russia's financial struggles right now, and the current war they're trying to do, because they're doing a bad job at it, according to all the propaganda I've seen. So I don't know. I think they have more on their plate than to save some 6'8" lesbian that got arrested at an airport for bringing vapes in her luggage like an idiot. Like, how stupid are you? Like, okay, like for other countries. Like, okay, South Korea is a perfect example. Okay, so in South Korea, if you're a South Korean citizen and you come to America, because in South Korea, marijuana is legal. Marijuana is illegal in South Korea. Now, I know this because I follow K-pop, and not lots, but a handful of Korean stars, actors, musicians, whatever, have gotten in trouble for this. So I know a little bit about this. In South Korea, let's say you're a person in South Korea. You come over to America, and you're partying up, smoking pot, doing drugs, and then you go back to Korea. If they know what you did in America, they will put you in jail for that. Just every country is different with their rules. In America, as far as I know, 'cause I've never heard about this. If you're an American and whatever, go to South Korea and whatever, do heroin or whatever, and then come back to America, they're not going to arrest you for doing heroin. But in Korea, the laws that apply to them. So South Koreans have to obey the laws of the country they're visiting plus the laws of their home country, which I think is hardcore. There have been plenty of Korean idols who have gotten in trouble for smoking pot on vacation in America, which just blows my mind actually. And the problem is, well, not the problem is, but because of like society is different in every nation, culture and all that stuff. So, for example, in America, if you get a DUI, well, I mean, it's bad, but it doesn't in your career or social standings, you don't get quote unquote canceled. But in South Korea, getting a DUI, that's like major. Like, if you're someone famous, your label drops you. If you're an actor, like you don't get hired for sometimes years. There was one example, and I'm not gonna butcher the name. Okay, there's this famous Korean actor. He's like a Korean movie star. Can't say his name. He got a DUI. His wife made a public statement saying, "I am ashamed. I'm filing for divorce." Now I'm paraphrasing, but she put out a public statement. I am ashamed. I'm filing for divorce over a DUI. Over here in America, that's a Tuesday. That's like last week for Mel Gibson, and and like his life is fine. So when you go to a different country, you gotta know the laws. Hell, if you go to a different state, you gotta know the laws. Just don't assume that your way is the way, wherever other place you are. It just makes no sense. The world doesn't revolve around you. I've been on a plane several times. The most controversial thing I've ever brought with me is a light green pair of boxers. Because at the time that was really pushing my sexuality. You know? Like, does a guy with an Asian girl fetish wear green? No, but listen, you really gotta use your brain here, okay? If you're on a plane, don't put. Why would you put anything questionable in your luggage? Now, even people who have subscriptions, they'll bring the whole thing, the doctor's notes, proof, because obviously sometimes you have to bring drugs with you, but I've seen some people who have everything labeled twice and have it in a separate compartment just in case it gets searched. I've seen people do that, but that's legitimate reasons. But if you can't find a sack of coke in Phoenix from your flight, leave the coke at home. When you land, go to a local bar, ask for some coke. It's not that hard. Yeah, this is a tip for you people. If you guys, at least in America, and you're traveling state to state via airplane, and you have a drug habit, don't put any drugs in your bag. Don't take any drugs to the airport. Go to a local bar and ask for coke or whatever. Bars are a great place to buy drugs. I mean, dead serious. Dead serious. I know. I have tips that can help you in life, people. Okay? And then, obviously, you got to know your area. I mean, if you're at a bar in Vegas, well, hell, shit. If you ask the right woman, you could snort the coke off of her, too. But anyway, I digress. I don't want to get too political. Well, I'm just gonna predict because I have no idea with this Brittany Griner situation. I'm gonna predict that she'll actually have to go to trial at least, and then the Russian team that she plays for will probably bribe the courts so she'll be set free. That's my guess. But anyway, I've said enough. You guys have a good day. Talk to you later. Peace.